I was working over 140 odd hours a week. I was there and I was thinking, I'm going to just put on YouTube and up popped you, and that was it. That was the start of everything. It was my first investment property, 27 and a half. I pulled out my money and doubled it, basically, more than doubled it. So it was 60,000 I got in the end.
Were you chuffed when you sold that and doubled your money?
100%, because I was really wanted to get onto the academy.
That HMO that you got in London,
9 beds, 9 en-suites.
the HMO queen.
They do call me that.
There's only reward when there's a little bit of risk involved.
Business is what I do. It's in my blood.
Kiana, thank you for coming on Winners on a Wednesday.
Thank you for having me.
So your background before getting into property is quite mixed. You NHS, delivery driver, cleaning, and all kinds of stuff. And then you got a bit sick. What happened?
I actually worked for the NHS on and off for 10 years. Whilst I was doing that, towards the end, the last couple of years, I actually had my commercial cleaning company. From there, I had a laundrette. I was working over 140 odd hours a week. It's a ridiculous amount of hours to be working. But I was then incapable of making decisions. I actually was getting into rent to rents, but then it just went all to pot really at that point. So I then sold my cleaning business, closed down the laundrette. I then purchased a property. It was international, so it was abroad.
Was that your first investment property that you bought?
It was my first investment property. It was a cash investment, yeah. So
how much did you pay for it?
27 and a half, I think it was.
27.5 grand.
Yeah, something like that.
That's cheap.
It is cheap. It's really cheap. It was a brand new build. It was in the south. So it was in Izmir in Turkey.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have like connections in Turkey or?
Not really, but I do go back and forth to Turkey quite a bit because I do like Turkey.
If you're like me, every time you're on holiday, you're there looking at estate agents' windows and trying to find opportunities.
Yeah, I am like that.
But it was that Turkey property though, if I'm right, that funded your academy membership.
100%, absolutely, yeah. I had it for exactly 4 years. So I got it in March 2019. I sold it in 2023. March. So it was exactly 4 years. I doubled the value. So I pulled out my money and doubled it, basically, more than doubled it.
Very good.
Yeah, so it was 60,000 I got in the end.
I mean, that's the thing with property, isn't it?
Yeah.
It does go up in value.
100%.
What were you doing then? When we very first met, what was your...
I was a delivery driver.
Working for?
Amazon.
Okay.
I worked for them for about 4.5 years, on and off. So it's like half the year work and half the year not.
So what made you want to get into like properly doing property and HMOs and everything?
It's been a long time coming. It's something I've been really wanting to do. It's just that it stopped me. Me getting ill stopped me from moving forward back then, just after when I had my commercial cleaning company.
What was wrong with you?
I've got fibromyalgia. It's a condition, it's for life. Can't die from it, but the symptoms are very similar to, I shouldn't say it out loud really, but it can be quite similar to lupus or MS, that sort of thing. But it doesn't stop me. What I found out was delivery driving actually helps me. The more I move, the better I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be a lot slimmer than what I am now. You might want to edit that one.
So once you sold the turkey house, were you chuffed when you sold that and doubled your money?
100%, because I was really wanted to get onto the academy. I found it, I really did. It's a funny story because I was actually driving at the time. There was some protesting going on. It's on the M25. I was stuck on there for like 2.5 hours. And what happened was I wasn't moving for about 30 minutes. The vehicles were not moving. I was watching the truck drivers. They were running up to use the toilet at the top of the hill and then run back down. I was there and I was thinking, well, I can't do that. So I'm going to just put on YouTube just to kill some time and up popped you. And that was it. That was the start of everything. I actually quit my job 3 days later anyway.
After watching the YouTube videos?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I was going to quit anyway in January, but because I wanted to start business, I hadn't got a clue what it was.
Did it just kind of give you like a glimmer of hope that, oh my gosh,
it reminded me of where I'd stopped 5 years prior. And I just watched you and that was it. I knew where I was going. I knew instantly.
Why did you stop then? What happened to your old property business, the rent-to-rents and stuff? Where did that go wrong?
It was just the one buy-to-let that I had anyway.
Right.
So that it didn't go wrong. It was there. It was something I needed to just leave there. It's because I got unwell, became unwell.
Yeah.
That's why I had to just sort of get back to me. So business is what I do. It's in my blood. It's something I've been doing for a long time.
Why were you so keen to join the academy? I mean, the fact that you sold that turkey property just to enroll. Well,
it wasn't generating a great deal. It's a small property. It's in Turkey, getting about 300-400 a month, which is fine. It's great. I don't have to do anything. But I needed to jump on the academy because I knew that was going to help me propel forward. I needed the knowledge. I needed the knowledge. I knew a little bit about rent to rents, etc., but I didn't know about lease options. I knew nothing about lease options. So commercial, knew nothing about that. BRRs I knew about, but I didn't actually know about. So I knew a bit about it, but not enough to get me through.
You wanted like mentorship, hand-holding.
Exactly.
Complete support.
Definitely. And I think for me as well, because I've been in business, I know how lonely it is. I know when you're at the top, it's a very lonely game. So it was that and the socializing. I really needed to socialize with the networking.
Yeah.
Everything combined, it's been
How's the socializing aspect been?
It's working on me because now I've become. They're saying I've become really good at it. So yeah, it's been good. Yeah, and I'm getting there.
We even had you speak. You were the spotlight speaker at one of the inner circle events.
I did. I surprised myself. It was just last week. Yeah.
How did it go?
Yeah, no, I did the 10-minute talk. I survived.
Well done. That's great. That's great because I think personal growth is really important because as you grow as a person and your knowledge and your network and you're having fun in a team, in a community, it then helps your business grow.
100%. Yeah.
When did you get your first HMO then? Because I know you're like the HMO queen.
They do call me that.
And you've got HMOs all over the place.
Yeah. So there's Birmingham, Coventry, Leicester, and there's one here in London as well now. So
that's great.
Yeah. So first one. So I jumped on the academy March last year. First one by April. Got the SA. So I've also got an SA as well. That was a joint venture, and that one's got that in May. June. 1st of July, I got my next one, and then from there it just keeps going.
I hope you're enjoying the video, but have you spent one day with me yet at the Property Investors Crash Course? If not, what are you waiting for? Link in bio, tickets are just £1, and if you can't make a physical crash course, we now have a virtual crash course too. I'll see you there. And also you're in with some massive investors now.
Yes, I am, yeah.
I mean, that HMO that you got in London.
Yes.
How many bedrooms?
This one's got 9 beds, 9 ensuites, so nine bedrooms.
And how much did you agree to pay for it?
It's a work in progress, this one. This is the one that's a work in progress. We're currently working on the figures and everything.
Oh, so this is like your newest one?
This is the newest one.
The owner of that property is going to potentially pass you loads.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's working with us, with others. That he's actually abroad at the moment, so I'm just waiting on him to come back.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So in terms of like finding HMOs then that you can control, are you looking for properties that are already running as HMOs, or are you finding like ones that aren't and then turning them into?
Yeah, so all the ones I've currently got are actually already running. They are HMO ready.
Makes sense.
So they've got the license all in place. It's very easy to do because it's already up and running. Some of them are already furnished as well, so I don't have to do much with it. It's just good to go.
It makes sense because there's a lot of landlords out there running HMOs and they're not putting the time and effort into them.
No.
And they're not furnished well.
Correct.
They're shabby. They're not managed well.
Yeah.
And the investor just wants a completely hands-off investment. But if you've not got a great management company, and it's hard to find good HMO managers.
It is. And HMOs as well. They're really difficult to find because all my tenants are actually doctors and nurses. So I don't go too far from hospitals.
With HMOs then, what are you looking for exactly? And how are you finding the landlords, and I want to get like a real breakdown of what you're doing, because you're making good money now. How much do you make now from your HMO's profit a month?
Just from the HMOs, 5,500.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that's a lot more than you're making doing delivery for Amazon.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was just, it was something I had to do. Yeah, that's what I'm making profit-wise just on the HMOs, rent to HMOs.
And that's only how many HMOs?
5.
Over £1,000 a month profit?
Yes.
So talk to me then, how are you finding
Some
these?
More. And my very first one, I didn't make much. I was only making 600 on that one, but it doesn't matter because I've built other landlords. I've got other landlords now because of that.
So what are you looking for then when you're looking for a HMO?
Close to hospitals.
So you're looking
all
for
my tenants are doctors and nurses.
So you're looking for existing HMOs?
Yes.
Near hospitals?
No more than 15-minute walk or a 3-minute drive.
Oh, really?
Really close.
Does it help having your background working in the NHS?
Not really, no. I don't use that at all.
You don't use it?
I don't need to. It was a clerical positions that I was in.
Right.
So I went from PA to office manager to project manager to working in facilities. I don't actually use that.
Where are you finding them? What platform are you looking?
I know a lot of people use Open Rent, Gumtree. For me, I just go direct to agents. I'll just pick a patch. So I'll just pick London and just go 10 miles out
Yeah.
And whatever 5 beds, 6 beds come up, I then call through to see if they are company lets. So they usually are advertised as a corporate let or a company let. If not, I then see if I can get it on the corporate let and see if I can get it.
So you're just on Rightmove?
Yeah.
So you go on Rightmove.
Yeah.
And you'll type in the area that you want.
Yeah.
London, let's say.
Yeah.
And then you'll find properties that have got like 5, 6 bedrooms.
Right.
And then you'll call the agent and say what? Basically
just tell them I'm a property investor. This is what I'm looking for. I house doctors and nurses in the area, and whichever hospital's close by to that property, because I've specifically chosen that property because of that. I then just ask if it's compliant, if it's HMO licensed. If not, is there a potential? Because I do look at Article 4, obviously. So there's only a few areas in London that are not Article 4.
Yeah, London's riddled with Article 4.
It is, yeah.
So it kind of has to already be an existing HMO,
Correct.
really, if you're in London.
Yeah.
Because trying to turn it from a normal house to a HMO, the planning and the licensing, it's such a hassle, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I went to look at one last week. It advertised as 7 bed. Unfortunately, it was a 6 bed, so the numbers didn't work in the end.
So, okay, so you're going on Rightmove, you're finding 5, 6, 7 bed houses near hospitals. Do you contact the hospital first?
No need.
You don't do that?
No, because I don't find my tenants through the hospitals or the accommodations officers in the hospital.
Yeah.
I've had one person through there, just one. So that was my Birmingham one. I actually just spare them.
Right.
Spare them. I do go onto Open Rent, Gumtree. I even do the Facebook because all my doctors and nurses, my tenants are all doctors and nurses, but they're international.
Right.
So they do use all the platforms.
In terms of profit margin and working out how much you can make, especially in London, a lot of the landlords, they're really greedy.
Yeah.
They want max rent.
Yeah, correct.
It's hard making it profitable.
Sure.
Are you negotiating the price down or how are you doing that?
Right. So in London, like you said, really tough.
Yeah.
And there are properties out there, they are licensed, but they just don't budge. They don't budge. They don't. And I think what they're really looking for is supported living, what the types of people that are doing supported living. I suppose it works better for them in that way. They know they can get that number. They're just trying to see who's going to give them that. Unfortunately, my business will not do that. It's not what I do. But there are businesses out there that can.
So how are you negotiating the price then, or are you just uplifting the property slightly and then getting...
No, I look at the max rent that I can get. I'd be a little bit conservative, so I do drop it £25 or £50 on each room, add them all up, and then go from there, work my price, sort of go backwards.
So talk me through then your Birmingham deal or your Coventry deal.
The Leicester one's a really good one.
The Leicester one. All right, so the Leicester one. So
that one I managed to do really well.
Go on, let's talk about it.
Do you want the numbers?
Yeah. So how much... So you find it on Rightmove?
Yes.
How was it advertised?
There's an agent out there. They don't actually do company let, so this is the only one they've ever done in their life.
Oh, wow. But you managed to convince them.
Yeah.
So how much was that property advertised at for rent?
It was advertised at 1,800.
How many bedrooms?
6 bedrooms.
Okay. Did you have to knock that down or did you make it work at that?
I went the other way.
Really?
Yeah, I went the other way.
What, you pay more?
I paid 2,075.
Nice.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to say yes to that.
Definitely. Yeah, I did go the other way. That's because my numbers, I'm making nearly 1,300 on that a month from profit.
Wow.
Yeah.
How close is it to the centre?
It's in the centre.
Right.
The landlord owns half the centre. The landlord I'm working with right now, he's given me another one in July, 6 bed. But he's given me a 4 bed as well in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, so that property, so it was on at 1.8.
Yeah.
What made you go higher? Why didn't you just pay 1.8?
Because this one had 4 bathrooms in it. Only one of them was an ensuite. So that one remains as an ensuite. There were 3 other bathrooms. So what I've done is the other 2 of the bathrooms I've actually attached to 2 of the bedrooms. And it's not, when I say attached, I literally just made it for their use only.
Right. Yeah, you're just like, hey, that's yours.
Yeah, exactly. I actually put a lock on it and everything so they know it's just theirs and no one else can use.
So it cost about £10 and now it's theirs.
Yes, but I can charge £100 more.
Right.
So I've now pushed my rents up because
That's so
of that.
smart.
Yeah.
Because if you just said, oh, it's got 3 bathrooms, you can just share them.
Yeah.
Now in their mind, it's like, oh, shared. If you go, that bathroom's for you.
Yeah.
Here's your key.
Yeah.
That bathroom's for you.
Exactly.
No, it's a superior product.
Correct.
So it's interesting that because the thing is, a lot of people think that you need to knock landlords down.
Yeah.
But really, it's just about getting a price that works for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you have to knock them down. Sometimes you can pay full market value. Sometimes you pay over.
Yeah, I've paid all over on all of mine, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
So you've not been knocking them down and you're still making over £1,000 per property?
Correct. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with that figure then, that 2,070?
So 2,075, again, with the numbers, with the rooms, I knew I could get more for the bathroom. So making them en suites, I knew I could get that. If it was just a double room, I would have been getting £600 a room. I could now charge £700 or 675. It really depends on the size of the room. But the rooms are all big. They're all really big.
So you just worked out, you know what? I can pay the landlord 2,075. You put it through your rent-to-rent formula.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you just said, hey, I know you want 18, but I'll pay you this.
Yeah, because I was achieving £4,000 a month income in rent. So, yeah.
And it already had a HMO license.
All licensed.
Why wouldn't the landlord just rent it out as a HMO himself? Why would he pass it to you?
So that particular landlord, it owns a lot of the city central. There's a whole stretch he owns, but he also owns stately homes as well outside of Leicester, Northamptonshire, that sort of area. So that's what he does. That's not. He's not interested in doing the what I do.
He hasn't got the inclination.
No, he doesn't. No,
he hasn't got the connections with the nurses and the doctors. He doesn't want to be. He just wants. He'd rather make less, but know what's coming.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so you pay him £2,075.
Yes.
And then how much did you have to spend getting it ready to rent?
It was fully furnished. I just had to spend about £500 just for bits and pieces.
Like locks on the bathroom doors?
Locks on the bathroom doors. Actually, this one's really good because I don't actually pay. I don't pay them because the landlord... I don't pay for the locks on the doors because the landlord actually covers all the expenses.
So who paid for the locks on the doors?
The landlord.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't pay for that one.
Okay, so basically this is about as no money down as you can get.
Exactly.
Did you have to put down deposit and everything?
This one was a deposit one.
How much did you have to put down?
It was equal to, so 2,000.
So you had to pay the month's rent up front.
Correct.
Month's deposit.
Yeah.
So there's about £4,000. But the thing is, you're getting that back almost immediately, right?
Instantly, within a month or two. Yeah, guaranteed.
That's the thing. People that say to me, and I don't mean to sound mean, but if you can find a deal like that and they go, oh, but I haven't got the £4,000, it's like, if you can't get your hands on £4,000, when you know you're going to get it back within a month or two, you're in the wrong business.
Correct.
You have to be able to get hold of money. You have to be able to make things happen. I mean, that's just part of the business.
Right.
Rent to rent is very low money down. But, you know, if you're trying to do this with no inclination, without making things happen, you just want it to be completely passive, completely easy, with no work, with no risk.
It's not a business then.
No, and then there's no reward.
Yeah.
There's only reward when there's a little bit of a risk involved. So you paid him for his deposit, you paid him his month's rent up front, didn't have to spend money on even the locks because the landlord is doing all the expenses, and you're renting out for about how much per room?
£600 on the doubles without the ensuite, so 675, around 675 for the ones with the ensuites. So £4,000 in total.
£4,000.
Yeah.
You're paying for the bills.
Correct.
How much are the bills right now then on a house like that?
Right, so about 550, 600.
Did you hear about the new the government talking about council tax banding? Because I don't know if you know about that.
I know about it, but I haven't really delved into it.
So basically, a lot of HMO landlords were getting burned. Because what the councils were doing is they were saying, oh, there's 6 bedrooms, but they've got en suites, some of them. Oh, and we're going to band them as self-contained studios. So what they were doing is some councils were saying 6-bed HMOs, you have to pay 6 lots of council tax, which obviously is ridiculous.
It is, that's crazy.
And it's killing your profit. But the government recently said that from now on, they're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No.
That's not going to work.
No. They said that from now on, a HMO is a house.
Yeah.
With one council tax. So you're paying about $550 on the bills. You're getting £4,000 turnover. Are you managing it yourself?
Yes, I manage all my HMOs.
Right. Yeah. So you're managing it yourself and then making £1,300 profit. That's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you ever managed to negotiate no deposit or no upfront rent?
With this landlord, because now I've built a relationship with them and they're giving me a 6-bed and a 4-bed in the next week or so, I won't have to pay deposits on those.
Nice.
No, yeah. I do negotiate the no deposit every time I do.
Well, you've got your formula, you know what works, and you'll put it to the landlord and say, this is what I can do. Have you had a lot of properties where you've offered and they've rejected you and it's not worked out?
No, what I have had, I should have a few more properties actually. So I've done all the referencing, I've gone all the way through, and the landlords have basically just changed their mind for whatever reason. Nothing to do with me. It's just that they've changed their mind. There was a 7-bed in London, in Reading, that we were about to do, done all the referencing, got all the way through. The landlord just changed their mind. They just didn't want it to be a HMO. So
that's annoying.
Yeah.
But it's a numbers game, isn't it?
It is. It is, yeah. I've had a few like that. Yeah. I've gone all the way through and then they've changed their mind.
One of the people's fears with HMOs, particularly rent to HMO,
Yeah.
is that they'll agree to pay the landlord X amount a month and then they won't be able to rent the rooms out.
Right.
Does that ever scare you?
No.
Why?
Because I know I can rent them out. I'm pretty aggressive with my advertising. So spare room, I'll spend £200-300 a week if I have to.
Yeah.
I will fill it. I'm always at the top of
Good.
the listing. Always at the top.
I think that's another thing as well. Some people that are managing HMOs, they'll use a normal letting agent
Yeah.
to manage a HMO, namely,
Yeah.
a high street letting agent. But the thing is, they don't specialise in HMOs.
No.
So they won't even put it on spare room.
Yep.
They'll just wait for the phone to ring. And then when the phone rings, they won't pick up the phone. Or they'll pick up the phone and then someone will say, oh, I'm interested in that room. And then they'll go, have you seen this apartment? Have you seen this? Whereas when you're managing your own portfolio, you're more aggressive.
Yeah.
You're proactive.
Definitely.
And you're only filling your properties.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, my Leicester property, 5 days, filled it. Done.
For the whole thing in 5 days?
5 days. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I take a little longer on them if I have to, but that was my quickest. Definitely my quickest.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's such a massive demand for people wanting to rent rooms?
Oh gosh, because these are all international. All my tenants are actually international. But there's a shortage. There's a big shortage. There's not enough rooms. And with the HMO side, a lot of them are students as well. So my property is not. It's for working professionals. But there's a lot of student properties
Who are
out there.
taking up the HMOs.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. But what happens with that is a lot of people come along and take those ones and convert them into professional properties.
Yeah.
You had a couple of guys on last week.
Many. Many people that do that. They'll take, in fact, maybe you could look at doing that.
Yeah.
Take like sort of shabby, slightly run down big student houses where the landlord's tired. The landlord's sick of having students for 10 months and then having 2 months empty. And then someone like me will come along, or Samuel Johnson, who's been, you probably know well, who will say, I'll rent the whole thing off you for X amount. And then he'll then spend a few grand making it pop.
Correct.
And giving it a bit of a refurb, and then rent it as professional, high-end doctors and nurses.
Definitely.
Just like what you're doing, and then the profit margin is high.
Yeah, it's very high. Yeah.
Yeah?
Really high.
A lot of people in today's culture is so different to 10, 15 years ago. You have to confirm constantly, are you going to be there? Are you going to be there? Are we still on?
Yeah.
Whereas before, it'd be like, oh, we'll book a viewing for next month on the 27th, see you there. And you just turn up.
Correct.
And that's why now I think one of the advantages to block viewings is that you travel there, you've got 6 people all at once. Yeah. And as well...
Mine are more like 15.
No.
Every 10 minutes.
15 people?
Yeah. I will literally book...
On a block viewing?
Yeah. I will do...
Is that not awkward when there's so many people there?
No, they're not all in the room at the same time. I give them 10 minutes in between.
Right.
And that's it. If they don't turn up on time, they've got to wait until the next one.
Oh, so it's like a block viewing kind of back to back.
I'm literally running up and down the stairs showing them the rooms.
So do you know what's so good about that as well? I'm sure you know this already. Psychologically.
Correct.
When the tenant gets there and sees 5 people queuing and you're in, they're like, oh man, I want this.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite. In fact, it's funny, interesting.
They pay the deposit then.
Yes.
They do. I make them pay the deposit there and then.
Do you know Priti Patel from Leicester?
No.
Oh, interesting. So she's on the academy.
Okay.
Really successful. But she got a 7-bed HMO in Leicester. And then she was struggling to rent it out and she was having sleepless nights and everything like that. So I went to Leicester and said, show me what you're saying to the tenants. So I came out and she was like, okay, this is room number 1. This is room number 2. And she just took me around every room, all 7 rooms. And I said, you can't do that because for a start, if you show all 7 rooms, the tenant's thinking, well, what's wrong with these rooms?
Yeah.
I said, lock 6 doors, show 1 and do a block viewing.
Yeah.
And
I show 2. I show 2.
2? All right, that's fair enough. Yeah. Do you want this one or this one?
Exactly.
Yeah, alternative close.
Yeah.
But not 7.
No.
Not there's this. And if you're doing a block viewing and you've just got 1 or 2 rooms, suddenly now, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
FOMO.
Yeah.
Everyone's, all right, bang, bang, bang. So there is an art to renting out rooms, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's an art to it.
Definitely.
And you've obviously cracked that.
I learned from the best. So.
Well, what can I say? I mean, I learned the hard
I
way.
literally take you word for word, you verbatim. I just do what you tell me to do, and it works.
I'm glad it's working, and we're super proud of you. One of the questions I've got for you as well, though, is how are you managing to manage properties in London, Leicester, Birmingham, Coventry?
Easy.
Really?
Yeah, I've got power teams in place and cleaners in place. So I've got my electricians, damp specialists, and I've got everything, but the handyman, this, that, the other. Just leave the key lock box on the outside, and they make their own way in. I tell them what the issue is, and off they go.
Right.
The cleaners are my eyes. They literally will pick up on things, you know. But they're fantastic, all of them, and they're really hard to find. But once you find them, hold on to them, pay them extra. That's what I do. I was like, just don't go anywhere. You know
what I love as well about your business model? You're doing rent to rent on HMOs, which is great, and you're making very good money. You're financially free. But the thing is, now you've mastered the HMO and you've cracked. You know the good areas, the bad areas, what rents you can get, the hacks of HMOs. Now you can buy HMOs.
Correct. That is next.
Right.
That's what I'm doing.
That's the obvious next step.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another thing you can do as well, and I'm sure you're doing this already, but what I would say is buy big rundown houses. Yeah. Turn them into HMOs.
Correct.
And then not only are you pushing up the bricks and mortar value, but if the HMO's got 6-7 bedrooms, they're en suites, you can get commercial valuations.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're 7 bedders and up. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even some lenders will do 6 now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now the rent and the value are intrinsically linked. So if you buy a rundown big house and you turn it into a high-end HMO, get a commercial valuation, you've pushed the value up. Now you're refinancing, putting your money back, next. And having a combination of properties that you control and properties that you own, you've got the quick pound over here, the slow pound over here. I think you're doing amazingly well. You said that you've got this illness. How does that affect your business, or do you just have to be a bit careful? Or?
I'm a little bit more careful now. Where I don't do 140 plus hours a week. No, I don't do that. That was the problem. That's what set it off in the first place. I don't do that. I sleep like a normal human being. I sleep 7 hours a day, but that's it. As far as everything else goes, I'm not that careful. I just make sure I sleep and exercise. That is it. So go to the gym and just sleep, and I'm good.
How's the experience? Because I know you were really desperate to get on the academy to work with me and the team. Did that live up to the expectations? How's it been?
Definitely. Yeah, and you just keep adding more things, and I'm like, where am I going to fit this in? This course, the commercial, the development. I've just been watching them actually. So and I'm just going through.
I'm glad.
Yeah, the auctions.
Yeah,
that was another one. Yeah. I think I'm up to date. I hope so.
I know you were a little bit unsure about being on camera. What was it that made you agree to come and do this interview? Because I think it's been extremely valuable to the listeners.
I have to do it. I really have to do it. I wanted to share as well with people, just because a lot of people, they think about it. They think so much. They're overthinking. Yeah. And I get asked this quite a bit. And I said, just stop thinking. Just go for it. Just do it. You've got the knowledge. You've done the courses. You've got the academy. People will help you. There's so many of us. Just go for it.
I think it's because the way we're wired as human beings, and also the way that we're almost brainwashed, is like when you go to university, for example, you spend 4 or 5 years at uni, and then when you finish graduation, then you go look for a job, right? Whereas on the academy, it's about reminding people this is learn at the same time, do it. Yeah. Learn and earn. Yeah. Together. Yeah. And some people expect they'll enroll onto the training and they'll be wanting, everything to happen that day. And it's like, well, no, you need to be, go easily, learn, get the training, get the support. But within 3-4 months, that's when you really should be putting offers forward and expecting things to happen. There's a reason the academy is 12 months, not 12 weeks. Yeah. But no, you've done super well. And I think that this interview has been really valuable. And we're really proud of you.
Thank you very much.
What would be your biggest piece of advice in closing to people listening to this that maybe aren't even on the academy? They're not even in property, but they're wanting to get in. They're where you were when you were a delivery driver a few years ago.
Definitely. It was the crash course, I think. Just get on the crash course. There's so much information just in that one day that you will pick up on. And there's a strategy for everybody. There's service accommodation without actually explaining what that is. There's lease options. There's loads of different ways. There's the slow pound, the fast pound. You learn so much in one day, and it's great. Just do it. Just go.
Well, I will leave a link in the description if people want to come and follow in your footsteps and come and meet me at the crash course. And Kiana, thank you so much for coming on Winners on a Wednesday.
Thank you very much. Thank you.